Hi, it's Dr. David Greene, CEO of the U.S. Rehab Network. The topic today is, why do some people get addicted and others don't? And the best example would be, let's say you have 4 children in the family. 3 of them are well-adjusted and doing great, and the other one has an addiction problem with, let's say prescription drugs. Well, why does that happen and the other 3 don't? Well, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory, and then we could talk about why it occurs. So here's the first example. Back in Vietnam, we had a lot of soldiers over there, and 20% of them were addicted to heroin. They were regular users, and it helped get their mind off of things. And the concern with the U.S. government when they knew this was that they thought when all these troops come home, we're going to have a heroin epidemic in the country. Well, that never happened. Less than 5% of those troops, when they came home, ended up needing formal treatment for the heroin addiction problem. The others just integrated back into society and didn't end up needing treatment. Okay? The second example that is extremely pertinent is 2 experiments. And they were really done almost the same way except for one big difference. A researcher back in the 50s took rats individually, put them in a cage, and had 2 water bottles. One with water, the other with water infused with heroin. So the rats drank from both. They preferred the one with the heroin, and they drank from that one until they died. Routinely, like over and over again. Okay? Decades later, the same type of study was done by a new researcher, and what he did was, in addition to the cage with having the 2 water bottles in it, he put a lot of other stuff in the cage. He put more rats. He put vegetation and food and things for the rats to play with, and basically called it a rat park. Okay? Now, routinely, over and over again, those rats in that new study didn't die from a heroin overdose problem. And the reason was, the only difference was they had the rat park versus nothing else in the cage. So that was deemed to be leading into what I really wanted to mention is why some people get addicted and others don't. And it comes down to what's called bonds and connections. So when you look at someone who is well-adjusted in society, it comes down to a lot of spokes off of a wheel. And one of them might be work, another might be family, friends, fitness, hobbies, charity, and there's definitely more spokes. But what it comes down to is all of these different connections that people have that make them happy to get out of bed every day. Now, there are some concomitant issues such as mental health disorders that really take this model and shove it out the window. Okay? Now, it might be that some types of medication can help stabilize those mental health disorders, but that can mess up my whole model that I'm talking about. But in large part, when you look at these studies that have been done, then you can see that what it comes down to is that there are other factors at play. Now, we know that there's a genetic component to addiction, and there are, quote, socioeconomic factors. So the kids can learn from the parents, and that includes any bad behaviors. But if the bonds and connections help to make somebody well-adjusted and not have those tendencies to lean on a substance as the connection, then that is one of the main reasons that people don't become addicted. Because they have bonds and connections and they don't need anything else to fill that void. So that's what we've learned a lot from some of the studies that have gone on. Thank you for watching. Visit us today at usrehabnetwork.com. We have a lot of treatment options. We have a toll-free number available 24/7. You can call us and we'll help get you in. We have specifically partnered with treatment centers around the country that utilize this new paradigm of helping people fill that void with the bonds and connections during the treatment and also when they get out for the aftercare moving forward. Thank you for watching.